Good morning from not so sunny Sarande. Unfortunately, our time at Onufri Hotel and more broadly Sarande is over, but we begin our journey to Berat. So we find ourselves out here in the beautiful countryside of Albania. Right now we're about 15 minutes drive from Sarande, and the reason we are taking in these beautiful sights is not just for the sights, but for another couple of 100-year-old ancient building. This is the Saint Nicholas Monastery, and it was built in the 11th century. It has been standing pretty much ever since. There has been some restoration work done over the years, but based on what we found online, it's got mostly to do with the interior walls. So this is very much original architecture, which is quite amazing. Unfortunately, we can't get inside, it's locked, but yeah, I think it's worth taking a look at this beautiful architecture. Pretty close to the Blue Eye, so if you do happen to be going to the Blue Eye, then this is a free, very quick stop that's on the way. Speaking of the Blue Eye, it is a place you have to see. Take a look. So this is actually the Blue Eye. As you can see, the water is being pushed up from underneath us. It's a spring, and all this water flowing is just coming from this one place. Apparently they've tried to put divers down there to see how deep this hole goes, and it's estimated at about 50 meters, but they don't actually know. It's a natural spring, and it's just super duper clear water. You can literally see right down there. Mountain fresh. So this is quite a stream, and this is separate to the other spring that we saw earlier. So I imagine that there's quite a couple more springs that feeds this river, because this is quite the current. So the Blue Eye is about 30 to 40 minutes drive from Sarande. I would recommend clubbing this with a day trip to Berat Castle or something, because it's not a full day's activity, but it is really beautiful. It's lusciously green all around us. We're surrounded by mountains, and the drive to get here is so beautiful that it's well recommended if you're going to be in the area. If these videos and the pictures you've seen online are something that you need to see with your own eyes, then, well, I encourage. So there is a restaurant here, But we unfortunately don't have time to eat because we got to get going to Berat Castle. Just want to go take a look at that view. Amazing, amazingly beautiful place to eat. It's a pity we don't have time. That was a beautiful visit to the Blue Eye. But now we need to move on to Berat. We've arrived here at our hotel in Berat, and this city looks like it has all the potential to be one of the coolest places I've ever been. Ancient city and cobblestone streets. I think we're gonna have a great time here. We drove all day, we haven't eaten, so we are starving and we're gonna eat like kings. Got me the hot chocolate, and it looks like hot chocolate. It's pretty good. It tastes almost like liquefied Cocoa Puffs. Yeah.
This is a traditional dish. Also, traditional pie made of spinach. I'm gonna try some whatever this is. It's a cheese type of thing.
I like it. I like it a lot. So we have two delicious looking desserts to try. Zupa, which is a traditional Albanian dessert. That's really good. On to the next one. Tres leches, which obviously is a South American dish, but it's very popular here in Albania. I've seen it all over the place. That is some good tres leches. So far, this restaurant is probably my favorite in all of Albania so far.
Unfortunately, we've been beset by rain, which means we can't go on an outing right now. Bummer.
We thought it would be a perfect time to give you a show of our beautiful room. Is that not the finest view in all of Berat? It isn't, but it is pretty cool. Nonetheless, this is our wonderful abode. The winner, of course, are these beautiful big windows giving us a nice view of Berat. You can see right across the street over here is the start of the old town, right here. This room, just like the entire hotel, has pretty much had every single piece of it handmade, from light fixtures to this beautiful ceiling to the floor. So I want to show you something that I didn't know when we got here. Our door in Sarande was very much like this window, and at the time I thought it was broken. Hello, door? What in the hell? Yeah, it's broken. Okay. But it's actually not. It's a feature, not a bug. These handles go two ways. You can take them down. The window opens like it should. But here's the cool part. If you take it up, you can drop the window like this, which is nice in the evenings to let in some cool air. I cannot recommend Hotel Onufri enough. This hotel is built and run by a family that drove the whole vision of this hotel. Every single block, every windowsill, everything has been handmade. If you look at the blocks, if you look closely enough, you'll see that they're hand chipped. If you look at the wood, you see that it's hand carvings. They painstakingly built this hotel. It took them 3 years just because of all the handiwork that had to go into making the materials for the construction of the place. The reason for that is because I've been speaking to the family here, and they wanted Hotel Onufri to be a part of the history here.
When I say handmade, I mean that the builders of Hotel Onufri used exactly the same tools and techniques that were used to build the original city of Berat. And when you consider that Berat goes back 1,000 to 2,000 years, you can begin to grasp the magnitude of love the family behind Hotel Onufri has for the city of Berat. It took them far longer to build than it would have had they used modern tools, materials and techniques, and it would have been far cheaper as well. In all my travels, I have never seen something quite like this hotel.
They want this place to, in 100 years, in 200 years, 300 years, they want it to still be standing here and for it to look like it belongs as a part of the history here. Every single one of them in there is really passionate about this place and they love the city. If you do come to this hotel, ask for Aaron or Antonio. They're going to take really good care of you. Here's a pro tip. Ask Aaron for his cappuccino because he makes it amazingly. And tell them hi from me.
24 hours later.
Unfortunately, the rain didn't let up yesterday. And it was a long day driving anyway, so we decided just to go for a nice little walk in the rain. Very romantic streets. Anyway, today we're gonna try have a good day. Is there a more homely feeling you can think of than that view and a warm cappuccino? So we're now at the Castle of Berat.
I guess they call Ola Algida here.
I was kind of expecting it to be, you know, just another old ruin, but it seems like a whole little village up here. Some of this construction looks new though, so I imagine that, you know, this isn't all original buildings. But you can see that they've done a good job of remaining consistent with the old buildings. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna go try and find the actual castle though. So I think that this is now the castle that we are in. Kind of just stumbled onto it. Wow, this castle is like built all the way around. It's actually huge. So this castle has history dating all the way back to BC. The first recorded history we're able to find on this place is that Romans had attacked the castle that was already here, 200 BC. And since then it's kind of gone through a lot of reconstructions over the years, over the centuries should I say, because I mean again there's reconstructions from the 5th century and I believe the 11th century, and just keeps going. Correction, that's reconstructions in the 5th and 13th century, not the 11th. Berat has quite a history being part of the Ottoman Empire, which is why the buildings and the streets look the way they do. It's obviously Ottoman Empire influence. It's really beautiful up here. Lots of nice views of the surrounding area because we're kind of right on the top of a mountain, and you've essentially got 360-degree views all around from here. So, as has been a recurring theme in Albania, it's beautiful. Pretty steep climb down. Whew. This looks scary. Let's go.
This is steep.
Well, this place is horrifying. I don't want to know what's in that water.
So we stopped at this little cafe that's just down one of the streets here, and it's obviously a family-run cafe that has been, it's their house that they've converted into a cafe, and if you take a look down the street here, you'll see that they've put the tables out the side, and they've jippered the plan to make sure that the chairs stay safely on the sloped surface, and their son comes out and gives us a menu. Ah, man, I live for these kinds of things. It's so nice to see some humanity in the city, you know. It's not some giant corporation that's shoveling stuff down your throat. It's like a family-run business. Amazing. Really, really cool.
So we got a cappuccino and some strawberries from this little family cafe. Let me inject some 21st century into this ancient castle. Oh yeah. So the japrak was about 300 lakh and the eggplant was about 300 lakh, which means that they're about $2.6 each, which is well worth it if you ask me. Traditional, tasty, cheap. All right, we're gonna get out of here, but so amazing. The sun is beaming down through those clouds on us right now. If you're in Berat, it's kind of a no-brainer to come check this place out, especially if you love these romantic cobblestone streets, which I just can't get enough of. I've just had enough of it. Time to get to the next place.
One of my favorite things about Berat is driving down these really terrifying, really narrow cobblestone streets, especially when it's raining. If another car's approaching you, you really need to work together to pass each other. One guy has to hug the wall very, very closely, and the other guy has to just narrowly navigate around them. It's really quite an experience driving here.
So we're in the city now, and we are heading to Republic Boulevard. It seems to be a tradition in Berat. I'm not sure if it's a tradition in wider Albania. At this time of the day, everyone comes together in a common area, and you walk around and you socialize and you hang out. I think that's a pretty cool tradition for a city or country to have. So this is Republic Boulevard. So Republic Boulevard is right next to this little park type thing. It's a really cool street to come at this time of the day. Bustling with activity. All the restaurants are full. There's the castle we were at earlier today. So Berat is also known as the city of 1,000 windows, exactly because of this. You can just see windows going all the way up the hills. It goes more that way, can't see it so well from here, but what a cool place. I was a little worried coming from Sarande because we had such a good time in Sarande that I wouldn't enjoy Berat that much, but honestly, like, it's really cool. It feels almost like an entirely different holiday. You know, Sarande was beach and this cool old city, all these ruins, and although it's a cool, really old city with all these ruins, just the feeling here is so different. I would really recommend checking Berat out if you have the time, because man, what a cool city, and the views here are so spectacular. So, Republic Boulevard, highly recommended. If you're in the area, come check this place out. As for us, I think we are going to be heading back to our hotel. Unfortunately, the day after tomorrow, we fly back to Dubai. But, oh, I'm so glad we decided to stop in Beirut. Berat. So many different options in Albania, so many places that are highly recommended by people who come here. I think Albania is definitely a place I'm gonna have to come back to.